Gents, what's going to happen today?
I definitely think Gray's going to take it, eh? Definitely great by 10 points.
Yeah, Gray should take it, definitely. I'm confident.
It may be a match taking place at Grey, but Selborne have plenty of support, including their teachers. Do you back your boys today?
Definitely. I think we've had a pretty good morning. We've won the 14, 15s and 16 age groups, and I really hope that we can do that as well with the first team.
Selborne, thanks, Grey!
Well, since 1926, Selborne have been taking on Grey High School, and they meet once again in this mutual and federal Premier Interschools clash taking place at Grey High School in the friendly city of Port Elizabeth. As is always the case when it comes to schools rugby, it's all about tradition, it's all about fans, it's all about the schools coming back and supporting the sides that, of course, they hope to emulate sometime in the near future. I went down to the grassy plains of Grey High to catch up with tradition.
One of the great things about schoolboy rugby are the traditions that come with it. Some are steeped in history, others not so much, and this just born out of anything really. This seems to be the case in point over at Grey High School. This isolated staircase, which really serves no purpose other than being fairly pretty, also serves as being hallowed turf for the Grey first team. 365 days a year, this little area here completely reserved for the Grey first team. No one else allowed, not even myself, and I'm doing a link for SuperSport. So what happens is, on match day, the chains open up and the first team come over the staircase, they walk out onto the field and they begin their match, as they will do so today in their final game of the season against Selborne.
Well, these sides have played each other 45 times over the years. Grey coming out on top 26 times, Selborne 19. Selborne College coming off the back of a very good victory over Dale College last weekend. With me, my co-commentator Wim Visser, former Italy international. Wim, good afternoon, and what an atmosphere.
Good afternoon. It's fantastic. It's all about spirit. It's about heritage. It's about honoring that heritage. It's about history. It's about tradition. Grey High School missing a few of their stars, but they will come out guns blazing. They've got a few Cravenwick players. They've got a few good elusive backs out wide. Keno Fers, Aya Olifant, very good players, very elusive, step off both feet.
Well, you mentioned Keanu Fass. He's captaining the side today, and he's one of the most capped players in the history of Grey High. And the reason why he's captaining the side is because Michael DeMarco, their regular captain, also captain Ife Cravenwick, you'll enjoy this. He represented Italy over at the current tournament, at the schools tournament. Grey High School, their biggest problem at the moment is that they've got players that are simply too good, because you've got the likes of Kerwin Bosch, and we've got quite a few, three others that have gone over to play for SA Schools. Kamua Delima, Kwesi Mafu, the 8th man, and then, as mentioned, Michael DeMarco. We've also got David Brits from Selborne. He's missing from the Selborne side because he's playing over for SA Schools as well. Selborne College coming out into the field, and they're led by the big lock, Daniel Froneman, who in fact has history in terms of the Springboks, and he is represented quite well, and plenty of rugby pedigree in that family. He had a sterling game last weekend against Dale, and they'll be hoping for more of the same this time around. Now, of course, the fans, majority of them supporting Grey High School. It is taking place at their home in Port Elizabeth, and as we await the Grey High first team, and as mentioned, they are going to be led by Keanu Fass at outside centre. This man having played numerous times for the first team, in fact 61, Vim.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm sure Keanu Fats will run out and do his side proud, lead from the front. Both sides are laden with tradition and heritage. Selbourne, Brent Russell, Andre Voss, Springboks, Mark Boucher, SA cricketer, and who can forget Jody Scheckter, who won in 1979 the Formula One.
No, they certainly do have plenty of representatives who've gone on to bigger and better things. Grey High School, of course, themselves not alone when it comes to representatives on the international stage. Their most recent Springbok being well-known Luke Watson, who in fact is currently captain of the Kings just down the road. So he matriculated from Grey, went abroad, then ended up coming back to PE.
Oh, they've got a few others as well. Sia Khaleesi, JJ Engelbrecht. Their school motto, Tria Junta in Uno, 3 joined in 1. Let's hope they can all join together.
And there's the war cry for the Grey first team. They're going into this clash on the back of a loss to Grey Bloem, whereas Selborne have had a very good season so far. They played 21-16, they've lost just 3. Greyha also losing just 3, but they've played a few less matches. The referee for this clash, Skalk Rousseau, and he'll be assisted by Eugene van Rooyen and Fernando Eitala.
Oh, wait for the whistle, Right, ready? Blue.
Lubabalo Dobela gets matters underway in this mutual and federal Premier Interschools clash.
Release blue.
Well collected by Selborne.
Step blue, middle.
Josh Eldman had a very good game last weekend against Dale.
Release blue. Step.
Alderman.
Well
tackled there from Grey. And lost forward in the tackle. So a good start from Grey. They'll be very happy about that, particularly the fact that the man who knocked that on was Selborne's captain, who was very prominent last weekend, Daniel Froneman.
Oh, it was a good start. They're going the direct route, Selborne, definitely. They're going to hit it up front the whole day. They've got a big pack of forwards. Daniel Voigt, 126 kilograms of tight head prop. They'll be looking at him all afternoon just to keep that scrum nice and strong and stable.
Always an important facet of play, the scrum. 7:49 playing 7:18 to Grey High with the heavier pack. Dobela with the opening break. Great run from the fluff, and he pops it out to the wing, but it was forward, unfortunately. So Lubabalo Dobela, who also plays first team cricket and is also a Craven Week representative for EP this year. So a great start. Grey showing some attacking intent very early on, 1 minute into the game. And they're already on the front foot.
Coming on the loop around Dobela, Selborne slipping off with their tackles. If that had have gone to hand, I'm sure it would have been finished well.
Well, Kanya Mafunda, unfortunately, unable to collect the wayward pass. Another man who's represented EP this year at Craven Week.
Set.
Alderman with the put-in. Koyana opts to go direct. In fact, that was Kamlashe, who had a very good game last week as well. Froneman, the captain.
Release blue. Use that.
Alderman. Grey High up to run it from within their own 22. Takabaloko gets it out to Koyana.
Get up, blue.
Alderman.
Roll blue.
Keeps it amongst the heavies. Alderman. Alderman opts to go blind. Unfortunately not managed to hold on from Pumzile Makuntwana. And Grey with the put in. So some nice intent shown from Selborne early on, looking to run from within their 22.
If you take the risk, running it out of your 22, you need to make it count. Makundwana just a little bit too flat. If he came from depth and at pace, could have made the difference. Knock on coming in, so it will be a chance for Grey PE.
Masterson with the put in. Dobela pops it inside, but it's lost. Great play from the Selborne backs, and they've got a clear run for the line. This is John Kutzer, scored 2 tries last week. He's got a man in his outside, and he finds him in James Bruce. Bruce gets it back. Selborne continue, edge their way towards the 5-meter line. But it's lost, and Grey managed to get the ball back, and it's knocked on. But Selborne ruled to be offside.
it their centre that's there?
Babalo de Bella finding touch easily. Gray remain inside their own half.
Just overrunning his attack is their captain Kano Fars. And then straight away on the counter, the interplay between Kotsa and Zamlaze, both Cravenwick border players. Finally finding James Bruce out wide.
On it.
An wayward throw there. Alderman with the clear out. There's Makandwana. Alderman.
Punish over.
4 men on his outside. They skip one. Kutsa.
Release now.
Alderman. Oh, direct running there from Selborne. Gaining meters. Alderman decides to go it himself. Held up by Gray, but eventually Selborne get the ball back.
Use it.
Leon Lyons drives down. Oh, the forwards continue to bustle up the middle. Getting precious meters are the Selborne forwards as they get their way to the 5-meter line. Froneman, the captain. Driven back, nice defense from Gray. And penalty, Gray. They'll be very happy with that, particularly that pillar defense.
Oh, it's good defense. Jason Haggett getting in and onto the ball. Body position perfect. Selborne's coach, Kevin Taylor, spoke about it during the week, using the direct route. And Selborne picking and going, keeping it up nice and close, pulling in defenders. A little Jason Haggett up to the task.
Unfortunately, Lubs de Bello not finding touch. So Selborne on the attack. Luto Selim eventually goes down.
Release, Blue, release.
Long pass out there from Koyana. And Benchi gets out to Kutsa. Well held on by Mafunda.
Back blue, back blue, back blue.
Alderman gets it in to his captain.
Stay, 6.
Alderman. Voigt. Heavy runner. You heard Vim speaking about how heavy this man is. Be hard to bring down. Niven Hazen. Brilliant direct running, but unfortunately can't hold on. Niven Hazen, another representative for Border. And in fact, he's got a first team blaze of him for athletics. That's for pole vault. So a man of many talents.
Oh, definitely so. Selborne going through a good passage of play at the moment. They're taking it through the phases, using the direct route, using big men like Froneman and their big number 8, Makondana, to carry the ball up, set targets, pull in defenders. It seems to be working at the moment. Joshua Alderman with a chance to add 3.
Well, the first opportunity for either side to get some points on the board. Alderman, in fact, switched over to fly half last week against Dale. Nathan George, the fly half at the time, being replaced late in the half. And scrum off with an early opportunity to get his side in front. And we'll have to retake PE, known as the Friendly City, but also has another moniker in terms of the Windy City, and it certainly has been the case today. Not the greatest of efforts from the scrum off, so it remains 0-0 after 8 minutes. Selborne with the opportunity, but unfortunately for Josh Alderman, unable to convert.
Well, it's one element we have not discussed as yet, and that's the conditions. There is a very strong wind blowing at the moment. Grey PE with it at their backs.
So De Bello with a very long clear out there, and in fact you mentioned the wind. Well, the wind's carrying this ball, and it does so over the try line. So in the in-goal area, we'll go back for the 22-meter dropout. Apologies, that will be... Selborne opting to go quickly, but...
22, immediately dots it, scrum, 22.
Well, there's no question what the players will choose. Schalk Rousseau correctly calling that from the 22, it went over the try line. So they'll go all the way back for the scrum. And just as you're talking about, Vim, about the wind, I mean, if it wasn't for the wind, that would have been a pretty good kick from Dubela.
It would have been a perfect kick. Obviously, Dubela using the wind factor, trying to get it deep as possible and rolling into the in-goal area and going dead. So therefore, it will be a restart, a scrum in favour of the Selborne side on the 22. This is a lovely position scrum. Left and right options available.
And as we can see, Andile Koyana, the flower for Selborne, standing directly behind the scrum. So he's giving nothing the way in terms of whether they're going to go blind or open. Alderman.
Stay, flanker.
And they decide to go blind, broken off the back by Makandwana. Opportunity here for Selborne, Michael Buerta.
Blue, step blue.
Alderman keeps it close. Froneman with the run.
Step blue.
Alderman goes blind. Got a man in his outside, and it's Michael Buerta, who makes no mistake, running down the touchline. Had a superb match against Dale, continuing the form this time round. Alderman reading the play brilliantly, going blind, finding his fullback, and the fullback doing the rest.
A superb vision from Alderman. Caught the Grapey defenders napping. They all started migrating towards the ruck. Set the target, their captain, Froneman, and then moving it quickly to the blind side. The whole Grapey defensive line had migrated towards the ruck. And the finish from Michael Buerta was superb.
It really was. He still needed to do a bit, but very quick is Michael Buerta. And he'll actually be staying in these parts next year, studying at NMMU. Alderman with the attempted conversion, and unfortunately that wind absolutely killing any chance he had of reaching the posts.
Well, that actually shows how strong this wind is. That ball held up completely by the wind factor. This is the start that Selborne needed and wanted. What a pass from Alderman, finding his fullback who finished superbly.
Dubela gets matters underway again. Nivenhazen pops it on to Froneman. Kamlashe collects a forward pass from his captain, so they'll go back for the scrum. Kamlashe and Tian Kutsa, I know I keep on mentioning their performances against Dale last weekend, but you've got to understand that Kutsa and Kamlashe, the centre pairing for Selborne, ordinarily don't play together, given the fact that David Brits is the usual centre, but he's playing for SS Schools, and they had a superb match, the two of them, last week out, so they'll be looking for more of the same.
Set.
Masterson. Straight on penalty to Gray, so early days still, but Gray will be happy with how they featured in the scrum so far, Vian.
They've been very solid up front, as Selborne thus far. But getting penalised for scrumming up. Pressure coming on, you could see both front rows going up. Skulk Rousseau making the right call.
12 minutes into the match, and it's Selborne 5, Grey High 0. But Grey High playing with the wind, and that will allow Lubs Dubela to try and kick for goal. Apologies, it's Sikle Njazula, first kick of the match for the fullback. Sikle, this being his 15th cap for the Grey High first team, goes by the nickname of Jez. So kicking with the wind, and it's long, but unfortunately for the fullback it is wide. So the score remains 5-0 to the men from East London after 13 minutes. Sikle Njazula missing his first attempt at goal.
It's all about managing the conditions. Strong wind from behind. Grey College need to play in the right areas of the field. Selborne, on the other hand, thus far have been playing to the conditions perfectly. They've been keeping up nice and close, nice and tight, direct route.
Very high kick out there from Selborne. Leon Lyons
Step.
Alderman looks to go blind. Paul Fantunda pops it out to Boloko.
Please, what? Blue. Get out, blue.
Very quick is Boloko. Watch him. Under 11 seconds, he runs the 100. Alderman finds his fly off in Koyana, who then finds his senses before it finds the hands of Makondwana. Koyana, advantage to Selborne. Koyana the fly off in there.
Leave it blue.
Alderman. Froneman takes 3 men to bring the big lock down. Alderman goes blind. Voigt pops it to Kamlashe.
Your hands. Step. Last feet.
Alderman goes to boot. The 2 men chasing. And it finds the hands of James Bruce, who pops it to Michael Botha, who goes in for his second try. And brilliant play from the Selborne backs. All read by Josh Alderman, the scrum half, who started it from the beginning. And then the interplay between James Bruce and Michael Botha resulted in Selborne getting their second try of the match after just 15 minutes. Vim.
Oh, that is an outstanding play from Selborne. They took it through 8 phases. And once again, the pivotal role of the little scrum half, Alderman, putting the chip kick through, noticing that there was no defenders. The kick chase from the 2 outside backs was perfect.
Josh Alderman, no surprise, having represented Border at Craven Week, and he added the finishing touches to the try by getting the conversion. So Selborne take an early 12-0 lead. It's just 15 minutes into the clash, and silence here at Grey High so far.
It's a superb, well-weighted little chip kick. Support play from Michael Botha, exceptional.
I mentioned Michael Botha will be staying in PE next year at NMMU. He's also at full colours for athletics, so he's a man that you don't want to get the ball to too often if you're the opposition.
Please. Use it.
Alderman. Lions.
Blue forward, blue.
Alderman skips 2. Kamlashe. And we'll come back for a penalty to Grey. Let's hear what referee Skalkrusser has to say.
Okay, it's not a lot like that. You've got to use your arms. Please, you're on a warning. You're the captain. Lead by example. Okay, sorry. Okay. You're right, number 6. Come on.
So as you heard, Skalkrusser, high tackle there from the captain. As you heard Skalkrusser say as well, captain got to lead by example. Big question now here from Grey. Do they go for touch? Do they go for poles? What would you do, Vin?
Well, there's a lot of time at hand. Obviously, there's schoolboy rugby, festival rugby, running rugby. Take the points, add the 3, settle the nerves, and get on the board.
Well, they weren't listening to you. I'm sorry to say.
What I like about the Selborne attitude at the moment, they're stepping in on the weak shoulder, the tackle. Penalty going against their captain, Daniel Froneman, for using his shoulder on the clean-out. As I was saying, I like Selborne's attitude at the moment. They're stepping on the weak shoulder of the tackler, offloading in the tackler, keeping the ball alive.
2.
Grey with the chance now. Mustard with the throw. Well collected by Royakis.
To him and forward back into you. Lost the forward. Still a part of the line-out going on the 15.
So Grey throwing away that opportunity there. We'll go back for the scrum.
It's a good take of the centre of the line-out, but you can see what happens is Jason Haggard breaks away from that maul and then rebinds. So it's accidental offsides and truck and trailer. And therefore it will be a feed for Selborne.
Selborne very happy there to get out of jail. Grey throwing away one of the few chances that they have had in the Selborne 22. So there's some pushing and shoving there between the two scrum halves. Broken off the back by Makondwana. And he carries him going, eventually goes down.
Stay now.
Alderman, long pass out. And a great kick there That does eventually go into the hands of Njazula, who steps out only just. So good tackle there from Andila Koyana. Sikle Njazula, a big unit for a fullback.
Wide step. Wide step.
So quick throw there from Selborne. Managing to get the ball back. Alderman, the scrum off. Decides to go in and penalty Gray.
Side entry.
Side entry ruled by Skalk Rousseau. Quite a few penalties we've seen so far in the match, Vim.
There have been quite a few penalties. Yes, it's intense. It's really important to keep your composure and keep your discipline on the field, because penalties at the end of the day can hamper and put a damper on your game, because what it does is it just takes that pressure and puts it straight back onto you, because you find yourself defending an offensive line out.
1 out.
Well, that's the position Selborne find themselves in, but they've turned defense into offense. A brilliant steal up front there from Hein Rust.
Okay, ruck now, stay.
Alderman.
Just
to
a tackle.
Fantunda. Alderman, his big runners collecting off in front of him. The captain. Alderman. Dummy run, then opts to go blind.
Backwards.
Ball goes back.
Punish.
Selborne keep hold of the ball. They've got advantage for a high tackle. That's James Bruce. And yet another penalty. And Bruce evading a tackle, which turned out to be high, so they'll go back with that just outside their 22.
Behind the kicker. Good up. Behind the kicker. 2.
James Bruce
Behind the ball.
is only in grade 11, so he can expect to play
Behind the ball.
a few more matches for the first team. He also recently scored 100 for Selborne's first cricket team, so another all-round. In fact, most of these players in the Selborne outfit are double or triple sport representatives.
Lines mark. Open up, Blue. Blue.
Nothing dangerous or vindictive in that hard tackle, just the arm slipping up.
Play. Stay.
Anton Mostard.
Another good take there from Froneman.
Still going forward. Leave it now, fast.
Make that Rust, who's actually got the ball. Rust having played.
Move.
Come off the bench from last
Come
week's
down,
clash,
move.
and a great rolling maul here from Selborne, edging their
Blue
way
out.
to the grade 22,
Punish.
and eventually goes down, and it's pulled down,
No,
ruled
you're not
by
on your
Skalk
feet.
Rousseau.
Olivia. Not on your feet.
So yet another penalty. 21 minutes into the match, and Selborne lead 12-0, just outside the 22. They've got the wind against them.
Got to be on your feet. Got to climb on top of it.
No hesitation in going for touch. They weren't going to try that, Vim, and go for poles in this gale.
Well, that's the perfect start from Selborne. They're dominating the first phase. They're dominating lineouts. Will they set up that driving more? They've opted for a shortened lineout, so they're going to use runners
Open up.
off Koyana. They fly half. You can see the big number 8, Makundana, standing on his outside in the pocket. He's got the flanker, Lutu Selim.
Froneman collects, but judged to be a skew throw.
Scrum.
So we'll go back for the scrum, and you could see they set it up perfectly there. The big lock from Selborne. Daniel Froneman taking clean catch, unfortunately was skew, but it just promised so much. As you mentioned, you had these big runners waiting offhand.
Yeah, the little hooker Cole Fantunda really angry at himself. It was a good ball to take and a lovely attacking opportunity for Selborne.
Don't think you can really blame the hookers too much in this win.
Bind. Set.
Masterson with the
That's
put in.
right.
Hard running there
Roll now.
from
Get
Aya
off
Oliphant,
wide.
another Craven Week player for EP. And yet another
On
penalty.
your feet. Can't on top. On your feet.
Kumzile Makundwana holding on. And Debella finds touch.
Well, Aya Oliphant setting the target, carrying the ball very well. Not on his feet.
Middle, open up.
Looking for
Wide
work
step.
is Makundana.
Wide, open up.
The penalty going against him.
5, 3,
Anton Mustard with the throw.
On his right.
Very skew, going the way of Selborne. Nieuwenhuizen. Oh, hard running there from the flanker.
Clean fine. Body
Alderman.
shoulder.
Kutsa. Bolok on his outside, decides to keep it. And well stolen there from Faz.
Play it from wide.
And the centre eventually loses it, but picks up and regathers. Selborne trying
Go,
their best to
Risa.
hold the ball up.
Step.
Eventually comes the way of Gray.
Get it out.
Masterson. To
Go,
Kutsia.
release, wide.
Masterson. To Bella. Nice running there from Jay Whitehead.
Step.
Masterson. To Bella.
Varnish blue.
So knock on from Selborne. And Jazula. And we'll go back for the knock on. Remember Vim Dubela, who's probably been the standout player for Gray so far. An impressive performance given the fact that he's understudy to Kerwin Bosch, who is the SA Schools flight at the moment.
He's had a good start, steady. Grey PE getting often trapped behind the advantage line. Must commend Selborne's defence. They're using a rush tactic, going up very fast, being very present at the breakdown points. Physicality, tackles are good. First-time tackles are paramount in an encounter of this intensity.
Set. Steady.
As you saw popping up on the screen there, Dubela scoring 2 tries in last week's clash against Grey Bloem.
Foot up.
A massive Grey derby, one of the biggest in the country.
Foot up.
Unfortunately, Grey High going down to their rivals from Bloemfontein. Early break, Fass. Grey on the attack, and Jazula finds Connolly. Robert Connolly.
Stay.
Eventually cleared by Masterson. Blake Taylor. Masterson finds Dubela, who cuts inside, pops it out, and it's adjudged to be forward. The fly-off once again in the thick of the action, and some nice sportsmanship, which is most often the case here in schools rugby, particularly neutral and federal premier inter-schools games. Liam Blake Taylor down for a few seconds, but the 8-man quick to get up. Originally from Mauritius.
Dubela getting through the tackle, getting his hands through and trying to get the little offload. Pass drifted forward, so Selborne with a chance to relieve some pressure. Handling errors. 5-3 at the moment.
Crouch.
But the real numbers that count is at the bottom there. Selborne leading 12-0 after 27. So about 8 minutes to go in this half.
9.
Alderman.
Forward.
And the shrill of referee Skalk Rousseau's whistle heard once more. We'll go back for a scrum. Quite a few interruptions so far in this opening half. The fans certainly won't want that, given the amount that have turned out. Grey High always well supported, Vim, and then particularly when it comes to this specific match.
Crouch.
There's a rivalry and tradition between these two schools. As you mentioned early on, they've already Grey have won this fixture 26 times and Selborne 19.
9. 8.
And Selborne having last won this match back in 2011, so they're on course to pull off a terrific...
Get release, White, release!
Long-awaited victory over their
Stay
rivals,
back.
but there's still
On
plenty
it.
of time to go. Nice running there from Joe Royakas.
Offside.
The big lock. Jason Haggard having a standoff there with Andile Koyana. And I tell you what, that's one man that you don't want to mess with, is Jason Haggard. Reason being is that he's an SA world champ in karate. And he was a double world champ recently in Brazil. Not the greatest of kicks there from Dubela. Not finding touch. Boloko. And his ankle just finding the chalk of the touchline. So there'll be a line out in favour of Grey. Plenty of action happening right now. And this action currently taking place right in front of the grandstand, dominated by Selborne scholars. So hence the noise.
Siboloko taking in the power step. Just that left ankle finding the white line.
Another steal there from Daniel Froneman.
Just your numbers.
Okay, but there are too many in the lineup, so we'll go back for a short on in favor of Gray.
Numbers in and out. Behind me, over here. Yeah.
Masterson takes it quickly, hands it off to Pelelani Zonke.
Release out.
Takes a few to take him down. Masterson goes open. Nice close running there from Jay Whitehead.
Guys in the air. Release out once. Step.
Haggard standing off, but instead it goes to Royakas.
Release once.
Big tackle on the lock.
Stay.
Masterson. Mostert. Oh, and heavily tackled once again. Superb defense so far from Selborne. Gray going back.
Get out wide, release wide.
Masterson
Stay.
goes it alone, evades one. Eventually brought down. Picked up from close range from the front ranker. Haggard.
7.
Haggard lying in wait. Some rumbling amongst the forwards from Grey High, and they keep it amongst the forwards.
Release wide,
Not going anywhere though with that attack. Masterson eventually gets it out to the back line. And Jazula takes a high hanging ball, manages to hold on. Masterson goes right. Zonke, long pass out to Connolly.
Release wide. Step.
Masterson, 13th phase.
Backwards.
Mostert, well tackled from Selborne. Looks like the men from East London have turned it over. They certainly have. Could this be a breakaway? It's handed down to Bruce.
Release, Blue, release. Play it, balls up.
Alderman scraps for the ball.
On your feet, Blue. Backwards.
Kamlashe.
Get out, Blue.
Selborne in their own 22. Long pass out to Buerta. Has to fight to get the ball. He does. He does well to recover. Evades 2. Pops it out.
Hey.
Big Daniel Voigt. Penalty Gray. So a number of phases there. Gray will be very happy with that result. But both sides saying incredible attacking intent.
Well, both sides are throwing everything at the moment. Grey College taking it through 14 phases, but one must say, Selborne up to the task of defence. Some big hits coming in. And then stealing the ball deep in their 22, trying to run it out from there. Sometimes you need to put that ball into touch and just slow it down. Once again, Selborne playing to the conditions perfectly. They have a strong wind in their face, keeping the possession, going through the phases, running that clock down. I'm sure their coach will be thrilled, Kevin Taylor, with the start of this game, leading 12 points to 0 at the moment.
You mentioned thrilled, he certainly will be. Selborne looking for their first win over Grey since 2011. Grey with their chance to get their first points on the board. And Jazula gets Grey's first points of the match. 3 for the men from PE. And now the crowd starts up. Selborne still hold on to a healthy lead, but Grey will be very happy to go into halftime with at least something to show for their efforts. Alderman restarts. Very high kick into the PE sky.
Blue back.
Oh, and a breakaway here. Hein Rust. Alderman.
Hi.
Spots on his outside. Kamlashe. Kamlashe gets through 2, gets through 3. And a brilliant try for the centre. A man who hardly ever operates in the midfield. We're speaking about what a great game he played last weekend against Dale. And his form continues this time around. So Selborne strike immediately. Grey High getting the penalty. And Selborne wasting no time whatsoever to get back on the board.
It's a fantastic try by Samlashe. Grey High Slipping off too many tackles. That's going to count at the end of the game. You need to make those first-time tackles. But Hein Rust, it all started with him from the kickoff. Stealing the ball and carrying it up. Setting a target. And then some Lashe stepping off both feet perfectly and scoring straight under the posts.
And Alderman doing the honours with the conversion. So Selborne opening up a 19-3 lead. And this is something that their coach would have taken hands down if he had offered it to him at the beginning of the game. The men from East London completely dominant so far. Dubele gets the match underway. Van Nieuwenhuizen continues to go. Another breakout here. Froneman gets it out to Voigt. The big heavy prop. He's got Nieuwenhuizen on his outside. Can't hold on though. So Selborne running grey ragged at the moment. And it's the forwards that are doing the hard work.
Oh, they're running nice in the pocket. And offloading in the tackle. Wrist to Froneman. Froneman to the big prop for Daniel Voigt. And you'll hear about this for years. Look at that sprint. Ball into the arm. He's going nowhere. Fantastic stuff.
Well, last night we saw Bulls front ranker Van der Westhuizen score a tremendous try for front rankers, for anyone really. Could we see Voigt pinning his ears back and going for a similar effort this time round? Well, he certainly showed intent. And it's always great to see the forwards doing things like that.
Okay. Keep your feet in close. Okay, only on set you can move your feet back. Okay.
See the passion, the spirit from the Grey High School supporters. A little bit silenced at the moment because their side is losing 19 points to 3.
Line. Set.
All the men in song, no surprise. All the men from Selborne. Another good scrum there from Selborne. Nieuwenhuizen kicks it through. And Kanya Mafunda has to go back to try and clean up, but it's adjudged a penalty. So Selborne, another chance to add further points to what already is a very dominant score.
Pulling the player back. Pulling the player back.
Alderman, who's going to go for the attempted penalty in this to take his side's points to 22. It'll give them a massive 19-point lead over their opponents.
Little Josh Alderman has had a fantastic first half. Good presence of mind and pressure at the back of the scrum, hassling his opposition number, winning that eventual penalty and a chance to add an extra 3.
Alderman from straight out in front makes no mistake, getting the penalty as Selborne go into halftime with a 22-3 lead. The men from East London completely dominating this Mutual and Federal Premier Interschools match.